Yo, Blade, what's the best way of promoting your business? Now, I get this question asked so much. And today, I'm going to divulge my secrets that have worked for me to get my company to where it is today. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I get my consistent sales every single day, utilizing this one free method. And now the name of the game, guys, just like Gary Vee said, is content. Content is king. Especially if you checked out my last video, I was talking about how, especially if you're first starting out a business, I really don't recommend, I absolutely don't recommend spending a lot of money. I recommend always spending the least amount of money as possible, especially when you start a new business. So it kind of goes in itself with marketing. Like I said, I recommend that you spend the least amount of money, especially when you're first starting. Now, there's plenty of ways to bring traffic and leads into your business. We all know we got paid ads, we got SEO, we got blogs, we got referrals, all these things. But like I was saying, what I find to be the most proven, the most free, the cheapest, is always has been just building content, and content is king. And the way we do this is by, well, first of all, breaking it down. The strategy is that you put out a piece of content, you put out like 3 pieces of content, find what kind of converts the best. You kind of find what performs the best and making more content kind of revolved around that. That's kind of how you get those viral posts, those viral pieces of content out there. But what I really recommend is when you're building out content, okay? Like I said, there's 4 main platforms that you can push this content out to. And I'm talking about Facebook, I'm talking about YouTube, I'm talking about Instagram, I'm talking about like TikTok. Those are the 4 main markets where you're putting your content out there to be viewed and eventually to get you sales from everybody. So when you're doing this, when you're first starting out, what I always recommend is to master one specific traffic source, okay? Like regardless if it's even Facebook ads, SEO, if it is some sort of paid thing, I always recommend to master one way of bringing in more leads, more sales into your business. And whatever it is, can be one of those 4 main platforms. It could be Facebook. One of mine, what I first started out was with YouTube, doing exactly this, putting out as many videos as I can, showing what works for me, okay? And what I'm going to be doing, okay? Talking about those things, putting out content like that. I mean, first of all, I'm able to put content out like that just about every single day because I'm always learning something new in my business, and I'm always trying some new strategy to bring in more sales and to increase my revenue. So naturally, it's just a lot easier for me. But in other businesses too, if you're truly passionate and truly have this business that you love, you should be able to make content forever on it, okay? And especially when you're making this content, like I said, I wouldn't recommend putting this content out on like all those 4 platforms at once. What I would always recommend is first mastering really how that one social media platform works first. For me, like I said, it was YouTube. I'm in my stage of really honing in my skills on YouTube, okay? Really mastering how to use YouTube to bring my business more revenue, more sales, So that's my thing. What I tell everybody is to first master one platform first and take what you learn from that platform and roll it out to the other platforms as well. But when you start using other platforms is when you start making a lot of revenue, okay? And when you start doing that, I always tell people not to stop doing it yourself, Maybe, absolutely make the content, but learn some more strategies to allow you to push this content, allow you to distribute this content among these platforms with doing the least amount of work as possible. Because we all know that we are severely limited on time every single day. So now if you want to put out a bunch of content on every platform, you want to do all the editing, all the thumbnails, all the graphic design, all that stuff yourself, that's going to be pretty much impossible, especially when you're first starting out. So what I always tell people to do is master one platform first. If it's YouTube, TikTok, so be it, and take those tactics, those skills, those strategies that you learn from that platform and roll it onto the others. One of the most important skills, strategies that I really learned about just doing YouTube is it's not necessarily it's not necessarily all about the fancy editing, especially for my niche. It's not necessarily all about this fancy editing and the fancy transitions and the fancy everything, whatever, nice background. But what really I've found and learned that helps grow my business, bringing more leads, bringing more sales for me, is not necessarily the beautiful editing, but is more so what I'm saying and the value that I'm providing and the solutions that I'm solving, okay? When I first started out my YouTube channel, it was strictly just credit repair marketing, okay? I grew my credit repair agency to 5 figures every single month. And based upon what I learned on there, I was sharing that to all my people. And it's very easy to do so because I can probably do it like clockwork. I was able to do it clockwork. Okay, so I took a little time out and I started teaching that on YouTube. And because that niche was so specific, it's not that I wasn't getting a tremendous amount of views. It was the fact that the views that I would get was very, very high quality credit repair agencies that wanted to grow their business at any means necessary. So they're watching me because I have the solutions. And I mean, look at this, right? I'm holding my phone out right now and you guys are listening to me because it makes sense, because I have the answers to your problems. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're first starting out this content, if you're first starting this journey, and if you have a solution to a problem, don't necessarily try to be a perfectionist. Don't necessarily try to get the best editors immediately. Don't necessarily try to, otherwise you're not gonna put out content. If you become too much of a perfectionist, content's never gonna come out. So what I'm trying to say is that when you're first starting, you're starting to put out this content, just put something out, see what works. And the best strategy really is to put out a bunch of content and see what works. Okay, see what is getting the most views, see what's making the most sales, see what people are opting into on your YouTube channels, what people are actually clicking, and put Bitly links on your descriptions, and overall build your business around what people want. Now that's a big one right there. That's some alpha right there. Because a lot of times what I see when I'm teaching people is that, this guy might have this business where he has this toaster that turns into, that also blends the bread, I don't know, whatever, some crazy invention. But nobody actually wants it. No, this is a fantastic example, actually. One of my buddies was selling had this e-commerce brand where he was selling this water cooler. It was like one of these brittle things, like here, but it was a fancy one because the thing cost like $2,000, okay, for a water dispenser that also cleaned the water using coal or whatever fancy stuff it has in it, hydroponics or something like that, I don't know. But that's a $2,000 product for water. Now, the amount of people that are probably going to buy that is really just like only the 1%. Only the 1% of the people can actually afford to be able to buy this expensive thing for just water. So what I was telling him about his business is, it might be a great idea and stuff, but what I would recommend is for him to kind of maybe like do more content-based marketing, okay? Put out videos of how your water is made, is dispensed through this hydroponic system, through charcoal and all this. Do a lot of content and figure out really if people want this, rather than trying to build a lot of capital to be able to fund and buy $10,000 worth of stock. Well, actually, that would probably just be like 4 or 5 units. But rather than spending so much money on the actual products, spend more so time on the content to figure out people actually want to buy that product. Okay, social media following. Social media is so powerful, guys. Social media is so powerful. And what I recommend for everybody is what has worked for me is to first work on your social media, put out content out there, build a brand first. I'm gonna wrap up with this, guys. Build a brand first around your social media and allow the business to kind of roll into that, build systems, build automations, build products and services based upon the content that you're building and what people are actually interested in. And if you start doing that, you're gonna find that you're gonna be able to launch a lot more successful products, and the products that you do launch are gonna be bought up, and people are actually going to buy them, and people are actually gonna use those services if you actually start building out these products and services based upon the content that's actually performing best, because you understand what people actually want. So guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. As always, guys, if you have some struggles, you need help or anything, you guys know how to get in contact with me. I'm sure you guys have been watching YouTube for a while, so you guys know that my little Linktree link is down below in the description, guys. I'll talk to you later, guys. Have a great one, and I'll see you at the top. Peace out.